Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be taking a look and I'm going to give you my thoughts about this legendary lunch hour, which is pretty interesting, but we'll talk about it here in a second, as well as looking at some Tempest Cup battles going up against a couple of local trainers. So we'll hop into that in just a moment. But for now, let's go ahead and discuss this legendary lunch hour. So this is just an experiment, I suppose. They said they're not going to continuously do it. We're just going to see how it works, and they may continue it. So, to give you more ways to enjoy Pokemon Go, we're trying out a new event called Legendary Lunch Hour. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. in your local time zone, there will be an increased number of raids to test your battle skills alongside friends, coworkers, and classmates. So, they said right there, in your local time zone. So this is going to be taking place on March 13th. So this is going to be a pretty neat deal. I feel like they should continuously do this. I don't know why they are just going to test it out, maybe just to see the feedback from the communities on how well everything went. But as far as I could tell, it seems like a pretty solid deal because, like I said, I always see people in our local Discord discussing, times on their lunch between these hours on how many legendaries they can possibly hit. If they get a triple, that they're pretty happy with that. And since we're going to have every single raid being a legendary, they should be able to hit quite a few. So that should make a lot of people happy. So nice on Niantic. And how do I feel about the continuous event after event? It's good. This is what the game needs. If you play a lot of other mobile apps or even other games that are very popular, they have a lot of events. Pokemon Go is extremely popular, always being played continuously. And I feel like events need to continue to drop like this. And if you feel fatigued or drained or tired from every single event, week after week, month after month, you don't really have to do all these events. And if you feel like you're going to be left out, well, I don't know what to tell you. Simply play the events or you don't, okay? And if you miss out on something special, maybe just, try for a day or so and then just let it go. Get what you need to get and let it go. As far as the shinies go, that's just a shiny deal. Good luck on that. But once a shiny is released into the game, it's always going to be there. And yes, for specific events, they will spawn more increased, possibly. And after the event is over, it's going to be much harder for you to find. But I digress. Basically, what I'm saying is these events after event are fantastic. And when they introduce little things like this, little experiments like this, I feel like that's very good for the game and for the community itself. Now they're trying to cater to specific people who are busy, people who have things on their schedule and they just can't simply go out and raid all the time. When they get off work, they don't have time to go out there. Maybe they can hit a couple. So this is just fantastic. So good job on Niantic's end. Keep it up. Events like this and little deals that you're doing for the people are just great. So 2 thumbs up and I say good to go. Alright, so before we hop into the Tempest battles, I'm going to bring you a little bit more news here. We're over on Trails' Twitter. We went over this yesterday discussing Arceus, and look at the image he pulled up here. This is what it's going to look like for the Pokedex Arceus. Now below is going to be these shinies, and then above is just the regular. But look at every single type is here. So that is great. That looks pretty neat. And I'm interested to see how it's going to be implemented. We just have the image here, so there's not really too much to discuss other than when I went over yesterday. Now, I did make a Rotom video a long time ago, as well as the one I did yesterday discussing how they could be introduced. And the first time I made it, after I was done uploading, I was thinking, okay, I was speculating how we could possibly see these Rotoms come in the game. Weather, of course. And somebody made a comment saying, well, possibly the weather on my last video. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that again. That is more than likely how they're going to be introduced, okay? Rotom Heat for clear and sunny weather, Wash for rainy, and Frost for snowy. So that might be a kind of a rare one if you don't have snow in your area, obviously. Fan for the wind, and then Mow for sunny weather as well. And then the regular Rotom, it's going to be Ghost and Electric. So you're going to have foggy and rainy weather. But I don't know how that would, maybe it would be just a common spawn. But nonetheless, weather possibly for these. Shout out to everybody who left a comment, slapping me in the face and letting me know, hey, we have weather here again. Remember, all right? So there you go, Arceus and all of its typings here in the Pokedex, looking great. Link in the description to Trails' Twitter so you can check it out yourself. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at these Tempest Cup practice rounds. So I'm going to be starting it off with the Lantern. Pretty solid entry here. Unless you went up against a Tropheus, you should be looking okay, or possibly even a Abomasnow. He is going with the Raichu. Now the Pokemon he uses are a bit underused, and he likes it like that. He doesn't like going for the top tiers, kind of like myself, but I'm just over here like, if you can't beat him, join him. I really wish I could try to go into these tournaments using underused Pokemon, but when it comes down to the last few battles, you kind of really need to have the upper hand there. So anyways, we're going to go in here with the Altaria. Yes, I made one of these yesterday. Thanks to this double Stardust, I can stay well above 5 million, purchase secondary move, and power it up. Now I have the Charizard. He's bringing in the Graveler here. I'm in a bad position, but look at Blast Burn. Look at that. So yes, it is just a Graveler, but still it's resisting fire and it did that much damage. Charizard Blast Burn is just absolutely amazing. So when that Rock Slide does come, I'm definitely getting taken out for sure. He's going to go ahead and block that. And I did go ahead and use that shield up on him. Down goes the Charizard, in comes the Altaria, finishing off with Dragon Breath. And he's bringing in the Celio and taking me down with Aura Beam. One shot there because I will be 4 times weak to that Flying and Dragon. Good game there. Now I'm starting it off with the Steelix. He's going in with the Mantane. And, Mantane, pretty decent with Bullet Seed, I suppose. And it has Ice Beam for good coverage there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit up that Crunch. I do have Dragon Tail on mine there. So we're looking okay. I'm going to switch out here. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dugong. The Mantane is going to be a Water and Flying type. Extremely weak to electric moves. So he's going to be bringing in the Raichu. Now I'm locked in here. Not looking too great. Brick Break and both its electric moves are going to be super affected to me because I'm going to be ice, fighting strong against the ice types, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit up the Icy Wind, getting that shield burn there. And then just shielding up on my end because I don't want to lose my Dugong quite yet here. Unfortunately, I know he's going for Brick Break because Wild Charge takes a little bit longer. So I knew it would be safe shielding up and not wasting and able to get to that charge again. And he is going down. Bringing in the Mantane Bullet Seed, taking me out, was so close to the Ice Wind, and doing Crunch immediately as the Steelix comes in, and then the Jinx. Now that Jinx is pretty interesting. It does have Ice Punch, and I did make a bunch of Tempest battles last night. Unfortunately, the video was corrupted, so we were not able to get that out there, and that is a good game there. And if you're thinking about Jinx, there's other options. Like I said, he likes going with the more underused Pokemon here. So keep that in mind. That's why he's using these. Starting off with the Altaria, he's starting off with the Mantane. I know Ice Beam is coming, so I'm definitely going to shield up because that will take me out in basically one shot. Going to go ahead and bring in the Lantern as a safe option unless he has something else to counter that with Grass or possibly even Ground. He's bringing in the Togekiss here. So we're just going to go ahead and Water Gun away. Hopefully get to that Thunderbolt. He's going to do Flamethrower. Definitely not going to shield up because I knew he was going to be using that Flamethrower personally. Or at least Dazzling Gleam maybe. I'm going to go ahead and Thunderbolt and take it out. Now, Celio is a fantastic option. That's definitely not an underused Pokemon, and I personally have made one myself, and the thing is an absolute monster with Powder Snow and Body Slam, although Water Gun can find usability as well, depending on your situation. So we're going to go ahead and bring that Charizard out, hit it up with Blast Burn, and as you can see, Blast Burn just rips everything apart. It's the only problem is Charizard has so many hazards in this tournament, but highly consider using one if you're able to get one in the 1500 range, right? With that Blast Burn. Nothing else. You don't want to go in with anything else but it. So starting it off with Tropius, and ouch, he's going in with Jinx. You got to get out of there. 4 times weak to ice on that Tropius. Bringing in the Rhyperior. Still going to be weak to ice, but with that Smackdown, it's doing super effective to ice-type Pokemon. He's bringing in the Raichu. We're going to go ahead and hit up Surf. So Rhyperior is a pretty solid option, except for it's going to be 4 times weak to water and grass, and pretty weak to ice as well. So you kind of need to look out. There's a lot of hazards for it. You can find some great usability, but Tropius here will destroy it, as well as Abomasnow, or anything with Water Gun for that matter. So we are bringing in the Tropius, going up against that Raichu, finishing it off with Razor Leaf. In comes the Steelix here. We're going to go ahead and go with Leaf Blade. Now I'm contemplating if I should buy a secondary move on my Tropius, because 75,000 Stardust and 75 candies, I mean, dang, it's really expensive. But if you go head to head with another Tropius, you're going to benefit so much having that secondary move. As you will see towards the end of this video, we had a Tropius versus Tropius, and I needed that secondary move. So starting it off with Skarmory, he's going with the Raichu, bad matchup, switching immediately, because I'm going to be safe through and through with Altaria going up against that Raichu. Brick Break, not very effective. Electric moves, just neutral because of the dragon typing there. So he is bringing in the Togekiss, and that Dragon Breath is going to be resisted because it's going to be Fairy. Togekiss is not something you're going to see all too often in the Great League because of how hard it is to get it in there. So we're going to be finishing it off with that Dragon Breath. In comes Celio. I should have went for Sky Attack. Dragon Pulse is takes a little bit more energy, and I could have had Sky Attack a little bit higher up on the list ready to go. But that's okay. We're just going to continue on here and shield this up because Body Slam is coming, and I do want to get to that Sky Attack one more time, and as we do here, and doing a pretty good amount of damage to Celio, and finishing off with Dragon Breath with a sliver of health. Raichu taking it out, and in comes Rhyperior. Now take a look at how much Brick Break does. So a little bit less than half damage, and it's able to survive 2 of those with the Thunder Shock not doing much, and it takes it out with Smackdown. But more than likely you may want to run Razor Leaf for sure. Now we have our next opponent, OMFGitsKESHA. He's starting it off with the Lantern. I'm going in with the Celio, Powdered Snow, and Body Slam combo with the Ice move on the side. So we're just going to continue on here to hit those Body Slams up. Now, when he does get to his charge move, it's going to be Thunderbolt for sure. We definitely need to block that because that's going to take us out. So I do want to continue to get as many Body Slams as I can onto that Lantern before I burn off all my shields. Now, should I shield up the second one? We're in a decent position here, so I think we will definitely shield up because I want to do some damage coming into that next battle here, and or at least burn off his next shield. So it's going to be Tropius doing a pretty good amount of damage with that Powdered Snow. Aurora Beam, we're going to go ahead and hit that up. He does shield it up because he knows better. And then we're going to go ahead and bring out the Altaria and just Dragon Breath away. So we are looking pretty good here because everything the Tropius is doing to me is either going to be neutral damage with the flying move or not very effective with the grass. Now we have Piloswine versus Steelix. So Steelix is a very solid option. Piloswine is a great option as well. You do have hazards that you need to look out for. Charizard will be hurting it quite a bit, as well as Water Gun too. So I kind of threw it to the side for now. And then Tropius is definitely going to take out my Steelix here. So he's going to get off Leaf Blade. I'm in a good position here. And we're just going to Dragon Breath away, and then that's game. So Altaria is something you probably want to consider for your team. Is it going to be necessary? Not really. It will go down fairly quick with the Ice moves, but at the same time, when you're in neutral matchups, like going up against a Lantern, for instance, you're going to be able to pull ahead for sure. So we're starting it off with the Plusle. And yes, I'm continuously using this thing because the performance is impressive. It's not one of the top tiers, but it still does a fairly decent damage. It can get walled. It can get walled like the Steelix here. There's nothing I can do. I have to retreat. So at this point, he has the upper hand. But he does go in with the Tropius, and I'm like, oh, okay. That works. And he doesn't even shield. And actually, this battle, he doesn't shield once at all. So, yeah, it's a little odd. But that's okay. I had some troubles last night as well. My shields weren't working. And it's, as you can see, look at the lag. So there was something definitely fishing going on here. Probably should have let this battle out, so it wasn't really that fair. But take note of that if you're battling other people and they're not shielding. Just keep in mind that something's wrong, right? Anyways, going into the next battle here. It's going to be Tropius versus Skarmory. Not a good matchup for me. Skarmory will win. All right, so I'm definitely going to retreat into Charizard. He's bringing it in. Marsh Stomp. Not looking good. I knew Surf was coming. Definitely Shield that would take me on one hit. But look at Blast Burn. Kills everything. Wow. That's a double resistant, and it still did that much damage. So we're definitely going with Dragon Claw here. Just going to burn his shield for sure. I do want to preserve my Charizard just a little bit longer, so I will be shielding this up. I do have something to worry about because that Surf comes extremely quick. We're going to go for that Dragon Claw again, and he's shielding up. Has another Surf ready. Down goes the Charizard, unfortunately. And in comes the Dugong here, just finishing it off with a little bit of Ice Shards there. And we're just waiting for the next one. In comes Skarmory. So this isn't a horrible matchup. As you can see, Sky Attack didn't do too much damage there. And we're definitely going for Water Pulse because the Icy Wind is not going to be doing that much damage. It takes a little bit longer to get to the Water Pulse, but it's worth it. I was being a little bit risky here by continuously using my quick move so I can preserve. Now, this is where I mess up. I immediately hit Water Pulse, which I should have went for Icy Wind. And here is the last matchup. So we have Tropius versus Tropius. I unfortunately only have Leaf Blade, but this High Roller over here has 2 moves. So you're going to see the matchup here. doing a lot of damage with that aerial ace. And I have my leaf blade ready to go. Nothing I can do at this point except for try to survive by clawing my way out. And he will be finishing me off in a few seconds here with his Razor Leaf. Down I go, and good game. Alright, so we're going to continue on here. I'm just going to show you some of the Pokemon that I have ready and waiting for the Tempest Cup. So not obviously not all of these are going to be participating. So the Plusle is looking pretty good for me. This is a 100% sitting at $14.99. The only downfall is if it goes up against Altaria. I mean, it can do okay up against Altaria. It's more of the ground types that I have to worry about. Piloswine and Steelix are a big threat for it, as well as Rhyperior. And then I did just make this yesterday, $14.99 as well. Wow, isn't that nice? So I did siphon through quite a few different ones, and I did get this one from Scarlet, so shout out to you, much appreciated for that. So I did check all of their CPs to see which one would land closest, and that was the winner there. Skarmory is another decent option, although you probably want to go with a Steel Quick Move. Just because there is so many ice types out there, you will be doing a decent amount of damage. But like we went over before, those ice types are usually mixed with water, so it's just doing neutral damage. Alright, so keep that in mind. As far as Dragonite goes, I mean, it could be a fun option to use. Ice is taking you out very fast, as well as Rock. You have to look out for those Alolan Gravelers, those Rhyperiors, those regular Gravelers, and anything else that's using those rock types, but those are probably the top tiers to use. So Dragonite, you know, it's something there, right? But top tier Pokemon, let's go with Lantern. Okay, you're definitely going to want to consider this or try to use it. I mean, if you don't have many resources or much Stardust, I don't suggest that you just power all of these different Pokemon up and just have them. Possibly just go for the ones that you really want to use and you're certain that you're going to take to this cup. Otherwise, you're going to waste your resources, right? Now, for this specific Tempest Cup, I'm being very specific. I've spent probably about 1 million Stardust already on different Pokemon purchasing moves. And yeah, that's just the way it goes. I mean, it's okay because I'm going to have them now, all right? So it's simple as that. Charizard, fantastic. Fantastic. You have many things to worry about, but at the same time, Blast Burn is just massive. Hits hard, doesn't take much energy, and you'll be able to just rip through your opponents, even if it's not very effective, okay? And then we have Tropius. Of course, it's just a monster. Unfortunately, mine is sitting at $14.77. This is the first time I think I've shown you guys this, right? So yeah, Tropius is a fairly good option. Now, as far as my Dugong, what do I want to use? Dugong, Celio, or Lapras? Will they all can find their usability? Honestly, I think Lapras is going to be the winner for sure. But the only thing is I don't have any ice moves on mine. So I don't know really what I want to do. Blizzard is not the best because it takes so long to finally get to it. And unfortunately, I don't have... I mean, I could have an ice quick move. It's not going to be Legacy, and I definitely don't have a Legacy Ice Beam. On this one at least, Dragon Pulse is going to be Legacy, so I'll be able to do neutral damage going up against other water types or possibly ice types. Say another Lapras, I'll be looking okay for sure. So that is actually pretty good for sure. And if I do go up against an Altaria, well, I have that Dragon Pulse, super effective. So my Lapras isn't looking horrible, but I do kind of need a bit of ice coverage, but other Pokemon can take care of that. Now, what do you want to go with, Tropius or Abomasnow? If you can't get your hands on a Tropius, then this is obviously going to be a great option. This one is not bad at all. Fairly tanky, super weak to fire, so you need to look out for that. Super weak to a couple other typings as well. Rock is going to be doing an okay amount of damage to it. Fighting is going to be doing a decent amount of damage if you're going up against those Raichus with Brick Break. And I do have Powder Snow and Energy Ball, so... pretty decent. I mean, Razor Leaf is probably going to be more ideal for sure. Even against things that it's not super effective to, Razor Leaf is still tearing apart your opponents. Now, I do have a Mantane and a couple other things here, as you can see. And if you're wondering, well, Zapdos, what about Zapdos? Isn't that pretty good? I don't know if you really would want to use that, but, you know, there's other better options like Lantern. Water Gun's doing a lot more damage. And you have access to Thunderbolt as well. So not too in-depth here, guys, just showing you what I have lined up here. Of course, I have my Lugia, the Dragon Tail, Hydro Pump, and Sky Attack. So showing you all my moves. Yay! All right, let's go. And let's see, if we move down the list here, there's many different options for sure. But that's the unfortunate part, is there's so many options to choose from, yet there's so few that excel and that you have to go with. Now, I do have a Magneton. This is an older one. I don't have Magnet Bomb or Discharge, unfortunately, and this is going to be another decent option. It's going to be resisting the ice moves, and that is something you definitely want on your team. So looking pretty good here. Now, if you did get matched up against a, say, Rhyperior, you do have Magnet Bomb, which will be doing super effective damage, so you won't get walled kind of like the Plusle does, right? If I did have all electric moves. And even if I had Swift on my Plusle, not very effective to rock type on the Rhyperior at least, right? But if you're going up against Piloswine, Swift should, work a little bit. Anyways, moving along here, let's go up. Where's that Steelix at? There it is. This is just fantastic. Steelix is tanky, super tanky, can take the hits, and has a good move set. Dragon Tail, Crunch, and Earthquake. Earthquake, I'm considering switching it, but I do want to have something that hits extremely hard if I needed to, take out a Pokemon with almost full health towards the end, and we're both down to no shields. This could help me pull the win. Going up against an Altaria, this performs fantastically for sure. Only thing you need to look out for is those water and fire moves from Charizard. And otherwise, Steelix is just looking fantastic. Anyways, with that said, trainers, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And I will be catching you all next time. Take care.